unconditional love, marry upon self, marry upon self. Naga Neter in the cosmos. DMT explanations. Take 4. What's good with everybody, man? You already. Like herbals, not weed, just herbs. We're gonna tap into what I like to call natural function. It's like everything has, like, we try to say it's nothing destined, but everything has. If that was the case, like, your bones wouldn't be predestined to grow a certain way, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, after you're born, like, the DNA inside you already have information that entails the structure of where you're gonna be. So if that's the situation for a human being, thus that's the particular of everything in life. There is a structure that everything has to go to, point that I'm getting at, right? All right. Can't see my unk in the drink, but it is what it is. I got lion hair right there. Excuse me. I'm looking at the visuals. All right. Everything has a structure, you know what I'm saying? Everything has information. Just like, and I love using this analogy, saying that how a radio signal comes from a radio station to a car. I love using that because that is electrical signals traveling from one place to another that carries information. So regardless how short the distance in between where the information is being carried, the information is being carried, thus vibrations. When you have so many different vibrations or energies running at speeds to carry information at one point to another, you start to create an electromagnetism. You know what I'm saying? And in between that place, it starts to develop a magnetic field of attraction. Now, what attracts to that situation for the structure is everything in the cosmos that's needed to grow that thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that simple, like no more, no less. Reason why I'm tapping on it like this right now is because, like, I traveled last night. That's the best way to say it. You know what I mean? And, because I be on my own meditation, and I'm on point. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to go as far as what I needed to. You know what I'm saying? So where I access was a vibrational level. You know what I'm saying? Almost like being able to feel the vibrations around me. You know what I'm saying? Feeling it. And then this morning, I had a clarity, a purity. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind was, the synapses was like, I couldn't even get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mom was like, nah, man, for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even have a negative thought. Like, and it was positive. So ultimately, the conjunction of the two situations are what I'm talking about, which is meaning that because I was already putting work into certain circumstances and then accessing the God cell to bring in relevance, it allowed me to find a higher synapsis of how the mind works. You know what I'm saying? On the normal level. You know what I'm saying? Of how that's supposed to be. So the way it responds starts to take on a different attribute opposed to just fast reaction without wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Everything has a way it's supposed to be, even after it gets damaged. It's still trying to electrically connect synapses or information to the same points where the growth should be taking place. But The system has ways of burning these synapses in retrospectual ways to where your decision making will stop different energies from coming in. You know what I'm saying? By the energy that you project, if that's the right term I can use, the energy you project. So you have to be mindful in being a part of the systematic way of thinking. Oh, we just doing this. No, you're just being non-universal. You're just being non-cosmetic. So there's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because everybody gets apartheid to do something, but then they get to a point to where they fail, and then it gets to the point in everybody's mind where they start saying, well, what goes up must come down. That's only if you're not living with the righteous understanding. Because everything that's righteousness is above the earth. So there's no coming down. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just keep going. You know what I mean? So with that understanding, you know what I'm saying, things start to change. You know what I mean? As far as how you intake. I tried to go live a few minutes ago. There's nobody around. You know what I mean? So I want to go live because I want to dialect with everybody. I want to have like, I want to touch base on different synapses. I want to be a point in synapses with the people who are reaching out to me. And I'm hearing a lot of everything everybody's saying. I want y'all to come live with me and tell me things so then I can build with you directly. Like give you exactly what I feel off this point of entry of your synapses, electricity coming towards me. Let me catch that and give that back. That's called usurping energy. So when we usurp positive energy, that magnetism usurps between two people and it grows. You know what I'm saying? So the energy that we're putting in there is knowledge. So that's a positive opportunity because ultimately between the two of us exchanging information, the knowledge is going to grow. It's simple mathematics. You know what I mean? Only characteristic flaws that people dealing is the ones they don't want to let go. And it's not such thing as right and wrong in life. It's just relativity. You know what I'm saying? So relative to a stupid situation, everybody ends up being stupid. Relative to a negative situation, majority of it, 90%, 80% of the situation is negative. Relative to a positive situation, it just keeps going like that. And it's contrast. You know what I'm saying? Everything is contrast. I'm going to keep saying that because we have to understand both dimensions. An old wise guy told me one time when I was younger in my knowledge traveling days, and I was sharp, but I still had a lot of flaws as far as, you know what I'm saying, being on top of the way I thought, for me personally. And the old guy told me, he said, you know, young man, you are wise in your days. And as soon as you learn to look at the situation from somebody else's perspective, while you're gathering your information, it'll make you 10 times sharper in whatever you're trying to handle. And it blew my mind because it wasn't nothing particular. It was just somebody looking at me from a bird's eye view. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what it was I was doing and where I was lacking as far as being cosmetic. You know what I mean? So, like I said before in the beginning, the cosmos has set the motion in how things should grow, just like DNA in the bone structure. It's already set to the motion of how you should grow. The only thing that stops that is impurities. So let's keep impure thoughts away from the body structure of understanding our cosmetic connection. You know what I'm saying? Pata. You know what I mean? Piaster. The pastor was supposed to teach us our connection to, or the connection from human to the cosmos, but they got misguided into dealing with religion, religion, rely on nothing. You know what I'm saying? So come back to understanding that you need a connection with the next point of origin. It's like saying every tree, you know what I'm saying, has a destination that they have to get to. You know what I'm saying? Which the first destination may be a size to where it can put out the fruiting techniques, and then it puts out branches to hold a flower. And then before it holds the flower, the branches have to stabilize so that it can hold buds. And then it starts to produce flower nodes and buds. And then after that stage, it produces the flower opens. But at that point, the tree is stable enough to support the flower. Thus, the flower will die and repeat the process all over again. You know what I mean? Or differently, you know what I'm saying? Depending on the structure of the plant. And the plant always comes back It's the same tree, but if you notice it the next spring, it's a little more vigor, it's a little more stronger or weaker. You know what I'm saying? And life never veers from its informational creation electrical value. The information of the electrical value in its creation. I said that with dyslexia, excuse me. But yes, that it doesn't stray from that value because of the simple fact it's the structure with which in itself that holds it. So a lot of times when people are speaking, they don't know by default you're eliminating yourself from whatever process. You know what I'm saying? By saying or dealing with to and fro where it may be fear in the characteristic or doubt or disillusion in the characteristic. You are already ultimately by default removing yourself from situations that have to do with the cosmos. So ultimately answering your own question by saying why things are not solidified when trying to make mental suggestions or moving to the different level. You have to stay righteous within the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? And yes, it was a religion given in the beginning because babies don't understand the connection to the cosmos. So if I can start you on an integrity path of understanding with faith in self or telling you that ye are gods and to have faith in that, then ultimately you would branch off from that and start growing in an iniquity that would rise the higher self within self and bring you to a better understanding of what cosmetic connection to the solar children are and the ways you're supposed to swim within this vibrational ether. So with that being said, awareness, mindfulness, you know what I'm saying, as far as taking part in everyday activities and taking part in people's mixed status when it comes to their characteristics because individuals are a war within themselves. And whether they know it or not, they're dealing with the characteristic traits, whether it's positive or it's negative or relative, they're dealing with it in a dualistic mentality form, which ultimately builds a to and fro situation, which ultimately puts you in a war within self. So even it can fall down to as simple as a person not understanding what to choose for dinner. You know what I'm saying? And you have two different thoughts, but you want to go with left or you want to go right. But because you chose one thought, ultimately in the vibration of the universe, the other thought has existed. It's just not existing within the time frame that you chose. So these relevancies that we choose out of our own will are creating characteristic wavelengths or characteristic ripples in life that other people or other vibrations that are of your character or of your spectrum that will embark and go on. Thus, the integrity of growing cosmetic is being stilled. So this is why it's important when people say it's okay just to be a part of certain situations or, you know, partaking in certain situations and you think that, you know, it's okay because you're just there. Well, ultimately, fish don't just come on the beach because they want to. If they're on the beach, they're dead. You know what I'm saying? It's just that serious. If a fish is on the beach, it's dead. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, so ultimately we are causing our own demise by choosing things that are not cosmetic with our conducive growth, knowing that the detriment is the will and the choice, and yet still choosing that. And it gets even deeper than that. Because you want that more than anything. You want self-reliance. You want to be powerful. You want to and in the system, the system is fucking evil, man. The system will have you thinking that kill people with your success. How can you be successful with nothing? Everything of value has no value, has no living value. It's not no law of the land that represents that. And we've been usurped from the value of what the universe has gave us. And value, mind you, there's not such thing as money. So the value is the land that's been given us, the resources of the cosmos has been given to us to have value, to use our knowledges to expand our growth and conducive knowledge of connection to the universe. This is why we was given the wealth of the land. Thus, as if your mother was universally correct, her knowledge would be her wealth that she gave her son. You see what I'm saying? And that is that is the particulars of what I mean by the energies that created us. It stays in the same pathways. You know what I'm saying? The earth had itself, it is a entity. It had information that needed to be given to the creations, thus it was going to be living here in a natural way for conducive growth towards cosmetic understanding. Um, if that is usurped and taken for granted and used in the wrong way, what happens to the fish? They die on the beach. You know what I'm saying? And it's just that simple. So we don't have to focus on what's going on. You know what I mean? That's the happy meal. Like if you're doing things that are out of your element, then what comes with that is a part of the happy meal. Like you go to the McDonald's and you got a happy meal, a toy is gonna come in there. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't get the toy, the kid looking like, yo, where my toy at? You're gonna turn around and go in there and say, yo, the toy wasn't in there. You know what I'm saying? So why is it why is it that difficult to have a connection with the people thus we're living with, you know what I'm saying, on the level and realize that pushing on a value that is not cosmetic, knowing that it's not the element that we're put in from the cosmos, it's not the water that the fish were put in, but we push to sustain living situations out of what our element is. So why would you expect anything less than death? You know what I'm saying? And this is why it's been imperative for everybody to just accept death. You have chosen naturally not to be cosmetic. So since you've chosen that, I'm sorry, inevitably chosen death. And because you've chosen death inevitably, not by understanding the misplacement of the knowledge and how to handle the characteristic traits, you've also regrettably, you've also regrettably removed the access of what it means to be original. So whenever somebody's challenging you about your originality, the first thing you do is you protect the non-essence of cosmetic understanding. That's like you're telling me, it's like you're telling somebody, just let me die. Just let me die. Why you can't just let me die? Or one of those army dudes, just kill me. I don't want to go back home, just kill me. That's what you sound like in retrospect. That's why words are important. You know what I'm saying? Words are very important. You know what I'm saying? And we are solar beings, which means any aspect under the system, under the cosmetic system, then it is privy for you to feel so that you can grow your connection to the cosmos. This is why I don't get into retrospects with dealing with people and how they feel about religion and understanding. Maybe at that point in their growth, that's the nitrogen they need to grow. If you want to look at it as more of a stable understanding of physical example, think about it as in with plants. You got some plants that need a different nutrient while they're growing and they're young. But when that plant gets a certain size, it no longer needs nitrogen. You know what I'm saying? It needs something different, fire under the ash to get them going. You know what I'm saying? After they come out of that, you get a whole nother nutrient. You get potassium, something to make you produce fruit. And after you get a whole nother, you know what I'm saying, to make you produce something else. Like, so the universe is not far from what the Most High left in electricity value as far as how we're supposed to conducively grow. What we have to understand and comprehend is what that means for us and how we deal with one another on an everyday basis. We going in, we on like almost 20 minutes. All right. So, we came to like some clear understandings as far as, you know what I'm saying, how we're looking at every day, because every day you have time to just at least acknowledge the fact that you're cosmetic and yearn for that understanding. So therefore you start walking back towards the direction which we came, and you start taking in the knowledge that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid and don't have too much information into your cup to where you cannot allow yourself to go farther, thinking that what is at that moment is stable. Nothing is stable. Life is swift and changeable, never remainable, but always the same though. All right, understand that. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's what this is about. Keep your cosmetic vibe high and keep rising. It's your boy, Ariel Naga. You already know what it is. DMT explanations take 4. Take a ride through the cosmos with Naga Neter. You already